Hey, what's up? Ken from Palm Beach Dyno here. I wanted to wrap up 2018 with a recap of the top performances by our customers. This is going to be the top 5. If you're looking to get in on something like this for next year, or just to appear on our Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and all that sort of stuff, there's a few ways you can do it. If we're there with you at the track, there's a good chance we're going to be videoing it or taking pictures ourselves. But since most of our customers are remote customers, it's really up to you to provide this stuff. So if you get a really good picture of your car at the track, under the hood, a nice shot down low, something like that, you can look through our Facebook and see what kind of pictures we've used before. You provide that to us, we'll make you a great picture and talk about your performance on our Facebook. If you can do video, then this could possibly be you next year. Now, the video quality is obviously a little bit important. On occasion we'll use cell phone video, but it's really better to use some sort of camera that has zoom so you can see the times and all that sort of stuff. But if it's, you know, a record-setting performance of some sort, sometimes we will use the cell phone footage. Okay, let's go ahead and get into it. We're going to start with number 5. Number 5 on our list this year is a stock engine car. So not all these cars are going to be the fastest of the fast or the quickest of the quick. We picked them out for various reasons, and this setup is we picked out because it's such a badass performance at a fairly low level of effort and investment. And what we're going to be showing you here is the 2018 Street Sleeper owned by Mike Szabo. Leading up to Bowling Green Anna Marais this year, Helene contacted us and asked us if we were interested in being there to tune this car in person and get it down the track and show what it can do. Before we arrived to the track, we had never touched this car or tuned it. It originally had the Helene top mount kit, and then Helene used the car to help develop the low mount kit, the Street Sleeper kit. And Rob and I flew into Anna Marais Bowling Green last year. I was lucky enough to be able to drive the car, and we dialed the car in on 17-inch drag wheels, then put a set of 20-inch wheels on it to see if we can break into that 9-second zone on 20s with a stock engine. And here's the result. Alright, that was a really fun ride. That 10-speed transmission is awesome. I wish I would have got some GoPro footage, but we were so busy getting the car dialed in. We didn't really get that good a video on that setup, but an awesome accomplishment. Next up is number 4, and this car we've been tuning on for a really long time. David Bowen came to us a couple years ago, I'd say, with his Roush S550 car, and originally just had a VMP blower on it, and he started doing some upgrades. I remember probably 2 years ago, Bradenton, I met him there to just throw a bass tune on the car. He went low 10s, and back then he asked me if I can make the car leave a little softer because his vision was getting blurry. Well, from there to where he's wound up is pretty amazing. The car now has a Brett LaSala billet 6R80 in it. It has a fast forward racing engine set up. It's got the VMP 2.65 blower on it now, and David is you know, a serious racer, even though it's a Roush and all that. Some people think you know, those are show cars, but not in this case. David happens to be the world's quickest TVS S550 on blower only, as far as I know. Either way, it's a really impressive setup, so let's go ahead and watch that one. great thing to point out about that last video is that setup wasn't done at some fancy track rental, wasn't done where we got a million hits at the track. That was done at the Mod Nationals this year, and the car ran super consistently all year, the whole weekend. I don't believe it made one bad pass. It went 860s, and then obviously you saw an 850 there. Anyway, to the next video. Now we have two stock engine 2018s on our list, which is a little bit surprising just because it's a stock engine, but the performance was so outstanding that we also, of course, had to include this one. And this one happens to be our good buddy Anthony Ballard of Signature Speed. Anthony's been a dealer of ours since he opened his business years ago. It's growing tremendously. Anthony's always been at the forefront of the Whipple setup. For those of you that aren't familiar with Anthony personally, he had an extremely fast 2014 car called the Guillotine, which is still around. He hasn't been running it a whole lot since he's been running this car, but as far as I know, it's the fastest 11 to 14 Whipple car. It's one of the fastest 6R80s ever. His best pass in that car was an 8.2 with nitrous and 8.4 on blower only. That car's down for some changes now, but this one's really about the 2018. The 2018 he went to get, obviously, to continue his knowledge on the 2018 platform for his customers. You know, took a fairly basic route to start. The blower, 10 rib setup, and E85, but stock motor, stock trans, everything. And from the get-go, the car was really fast. This is one of the cars that I personally learned to tune a 2018 on, so we have been extremely tough on this car. I'm very surprised that it held up to what it did. And this pass was also at the Mod Nationals this year, and he was able to go a 9.0 with his stock engine 2018 Whipple car, and this car is full weight. So let's go ahead and watch that video. Alright, let's get on to the next one. This is number 2 on our list, and this one holds a little bit of a special place to me personally. This performance is Sondra Leslie's performance in Anna Marais Limited Street. A little background there. Probably about 10 years ago, 2009, Sondra had never made a drag strip pass ever, and we were friends, and I decided to let her go ahead and try and make her first pass in my Mustang, which happened to be at the Anna Marais Bowling Green World Finals that year. Somehow she convinced the Anna Marais staff to let her make a test hit right in the middle of Sunday's final rounds, and she was able to do a burnout, stage the car, and make a complete 11-second pass with never ever being down the drag strip. So from there I knew she was an awesome learner and very talented. So the next year she ran that same car in Anna Marais Super Stang, and then from there she really hasn't missed a beat. She went on to factory stock. She's had multiple cars since then of her own, and fast forward to last year, she approached me about running the new Anna Marais Limited Street class. And you know, honestly, I was a bit skeptical. You know, a factory stock car and a limited street car are two very different things, and unfortunately I live quite a distance from Sondra, so I wasn't able to help with the car in person. It was just advice and tuning at this point. And somehow, some way, she was able to put together the program in a short time. The car didn't make the first race, but she was able to make the second or third race, and the car showed some really great glimpses of what it could do, but we were running into some issues that I felt I could better address in person. So I flew to Anna Marais Joliet last year, and the result was this record-setting performance, 850 at 160 miles, which currently holds the ET and the mile-an-hour record in the class. We did it with a blower that nobody really thought was a good option in this class, and we did it at over 3,800 pounds. That's something important to remember. This is a Fox body, so everybody assumes that it's super lightweight, but in classes like this, they will tell you, you know, the minimum weight for any particular combination, and her, for what she has the car outfitted with, it was over 3,800 pounds. I don't remember the exact weight. Anyway, long story short, it's an extremely impressive performance. This was her first year in a sub 10-second car, and here she is winning races and setting records in an 850 car. So really proud of that. So let's go ahead and watch the video. Okay, and now for the #1 video from Palm Beach Dyno customers for 2018. Again, this one is very close to me personally. This is, a lot of these performances, we're not very involved in the car itself, but this car in particular was probably one of the most complete projects we've ever done here at Palm Beach Dyno, of course, with the help of Rare Fab, who does all of the work on the cars. Jimmy from the shop, CT, hit me up at some point. We were tuning this car already. It had a Whipple on it. It was fast, a 9-second car. But then he called me one day and he was like, look, man, I don't like to mess around. I've had fast GTRs, fast Porsches. I've always wanted to be and been successful at being one of the fastest guys with the platform. And, I just really need I want to just kick everybody's butt, basically. So he asked me my opinion, and I told him let's go twin turbo, and I gave him a long list of things to get. He acquired those parts, but fortunately and unfortunately, his business was so incredibly busy. He's totally capable of putting a car like this together, but he couldn't. The car was just sitting there while we're here trying to build up our business and our install business. So I said, hey, why don't you send me the car and all the parts, and we'll put it together here. We'll work together. It was a sort of sponsorship deal, to where, give us the car, let us show what it can do, and you wind up with one of the baddest cars on the planet. And in the end, it pretty much worked that way. Well, he didn't end that way because the story gets bad, but let's talk about this video first, and leading up to this. We got the car ready for the 2017, we were getting the car ready for the 2017 Mod Nationals. Leading up to that, like always, you think you have a ton of time, and you don't. So we were running behind. We had a couple issues with the build, and it's a week before we get the car running, get it on the dyno pretty good, and what happens? Our local track is closed. So we're faced with possibly going to the Mod Nationals with a car we wanted to try and win with no test passes. So instead, we trailed the car up to Orlando. Unfortunately, we got there late. We only made a couple passes, and leading into the Mod Nationals, this car never made an 8-second pass. It was like 9.0, 9.1. So then we trailed the car all the way up to the Mod Nationals, totally untested. In fact, going into it, I wasn't too excited about it, but it was like, hey, let's see what happens. Well, fortunately, it worked out for us. The car was put together correctly with 0 issues. because of Rare Fab, and that's one of the reasons they work on my own personal car, is you know, it's easy to throw some parts on, see where you screwed up, fix it, see where you screwed up, fix it, and eventually get to where you're going. But when you put together a car and really have zero issues from the get-go, especially this level car, that's a really valuable asset that we have here as part of the Palm Beach Dyno team. Anyway, we were able to slowly get quicker every single pass, and we won with the best ET of the weekend being an 830. So then the next goal was, let's set the record and let's be the first car in the sevens, right? Obviously Brett LaSala was very close. He had been working on that for a while. Brett's a great guy. He builds all of our transmissions now with all the billet stuff. But at the end of the day, I'm an extremely competitive person, so we did everything that we could to try and be the first in the sevens, including carbon fiber doors and lighting the car up and everything. And you know, we were rewarded with this video that you see here. Unfortunately, not long after this, it was actually NMRA Bradenton earlier this year. After this pass, Brett broke our record, and of course, you know, that's not okay with us. So we showed up at NMRA Bradenton with the idea to hold the overall 6R80 record once again. And now, as you can see in this video, we were having some issues with the S550 computer hanging the throttle open after spinning and lifting. Well, that came to bite us in the ass at Bradenton, and first we reset the record again. At that time it was 792, and we went upwards of 178 miles an hour at that time. And then we were faced with eliminations, and in eliminations, we wanted to go quicker. Up until that point, the 792, we were really weak on the leave to make sure we didn't have the throttle issues. And then B, it was eliminations, and we were facing Justin Jordan, which, you know, on paper we had nothing for Justin. Justin is a mid 7-second car on an A to B pass, and when he really wants to get after it, at that time he was low sevens, and now it's been 680s. But it doesn't matter, because if you think I'm competitive, for people that know me, Jimmy is just as bad or just as good. Which one is it? Anyway, he's a very competitive guy, and you know, right before that round, I said to Jimmy, I said, what do you want to do? You just want to go out there and run another 790? Do you want to try and win this race? You want to try and go quicker? It's up to you, it's your car. And you know, of course I wanted to run it hard. And you know, that was a mistake. We went up again, and the other thing that really bit us in the ass is up until this point, we hadn't used the bump box in competition, or really at all. And obviously that's going to change how the car spools up. So what happened was, we staged the car with the bump box. I could tell, Jimmy could tell, that it was ready to make a pass. Unfortunately, it spun. We hit the wall. I was driving this car in this case, and it really messed the car up. Now here we are in December, and we're just now getting it fixed. The car is switching over to the Hellion Street Sleeper kit. So let's go ahead and watch the video, and then stay tuned for 2019, because the car is fixed, and Jimmy is coming out with something to prove on this one. So we're hoping to really set the 6R80 record really deep, but it already is really deep. Lund Racing and Brett LaSala have both been 770s. My own personal car is going to be going after the 6R80 record. This car is going to be going after the 6R80 record, and there's a lot more guys out there. It's really amazing where the 6R80 has come in the last couple of years. Anyway, enough of that. Let's watch the video.
7s, bitches.
Okay, that wraps up our top 5 for 2018. Again, if you're interested in getting involved in something like this and being considered for it, all you really need to do is be Palm Beach Dyno tuned and have some good video of your car. And in that case, we'll feature you on our YouTube channel and do a video on your car. And then if you happen to be the top 5 performances of next year, this could be you. Maybe next year we'll do the top 10. Anyway, thanks for joining us. Everybody, I hope you had a good 2018, and let's make 2019 even quicker.